A new clan capital district, Skeleton Park, brings 2 new defenses and a new spell in the Clash of Clans update. You unlock this district by upgrading your capital hall to level 8, and once you do unlock this district, you have access to the Inferno Dragon troop and 1 Mini-Minion Hive defense. Once you repair some of the ruins, you gain access to the Reflector, but I'll be explaining the defenses later in the video. Upgrading your Skeleton Park district to level 2 gives you access to the Graveyard spell. Well, once again, this is after you've repaired a couple of runes, and this is what I am most looking forward to because it's kind of like a skeleton spell, but the skeletons spawn when your attacking troops or defending troops are taken down. As you continue to upgrade the district hall, you will unlock many more reflectors, but Skeleton Park only goes up to level 4. This is what it looks like at maximum level: 2 mini-minion hives and 6 reflector defenses. But I also want to point out these spiky vines. These are impenetrable, much like mountains on other districts. So ground troops cannot break them, jump over them. They have to enter through these little gaps. That will make it an interesting district to attack. Introducing the Inferno Dragon. This can be upgraded to level 4 within the clan capital. These are the stats for the various levels, and it works exactly the same as the super troop version. A baby dragon with a single target inferno beam, ramping all of the way up to 1,600 damage. Within the clan capital, that is the highest damage troop, closely followed by the mountain golem and the super P.E.K.K.A. Does that mean it is good in the clan capital? Yes, I will be using it quite a lot, because due to how the clan capital operates, many of the defenses have really high hit points, so you can ramp up the Inferno Dragon damage and take them down quite easily. If you could distract some of the major defenses, a rocket artillery for example, you can take that down pretty quickly. Also the defending Super Dragon. Distract it, wipe it out easily with an Inferno Dragon. What about the capital hall though? Many times I carve my way through in order to snipe it off with a bunch of sneaky archers, but now you can just use an Inferno Dragon. In the first example, I tried using a frost spell and a rage spell, but the fact that we took it down quite easily, I thought let's just try with the rage. I don't think it is a coincidence that the capital hall does not take out the Inferno Dragon in one shot. I'm pretty sure Clash of Clans must have planned it that way, and yes! You can see that we do take down a capital hall with 1 Inferno Dragon inside the rage. I mean, I am going to be using that every single raid weekend. The new Graveyard spell is equally upgraded to level 4, and by upgrading the spell, it increases the maximum cap of skeletons you can spawn. 39 skeletons being the maximum amount per spell. For the spell itself, you can place it anywhere on the map. I'm thinking the dead zone of the rocket artillery could be a good choice, and then when your troops start to go down, the skeletons will begin to spawn. The rate that they begin to appear is 1 skeleton per every 3 troop capacity that is taken out. If it is ground troops that are taken down, then ground skeletons spawn. If it is air troops that are taken out, then air skeletons will be spawned. I think this will be a really interesting mix to see whether you can purposely take some air troops in order to spawn some air skeletons, maybe right on top of a giant cannon, or whether you can just identify areas that have limited splash and drop all of the graveyard spells there. Now, it is important to remember the cap, 39 at maximum level. This means even if you take 3 graveyard spells, you can only spawn 117 skeletons. Only. Maybe with the skeleton barrels and the flying fortress, we could make a pretty cool video on this. But my point is, that is less than half of the housing space that you can take into an attack. But I feel alongside balancing, there might actually be another reason for that. And that is because the spell does continue into the second attack. So you can see as troops start to go down, skeletons are spawned again from the initial spell. The counter is reset in between attacks. And then if you yourself take 3 graveyard spells, so there are 6 of them on the map, this is then 234 out of the 250 troop capacity that would be respawned during the attack. The splash defenses are going to have to be on their A game. And this is actually tying into the Mini-Minion Hive, which we're going to talk about in a moment. The final point that you should be aware of on the Graveyard spell is that it is not only your attacking troops that cause the skeletons to spawn. If you take down some defending troops, whether it be super giants or maybe the super dragons, that will cause skeletons to spawn, with it being a troop in itself. Defenses now, let's cover the Mini-Minion Hive first. Likewise upgraded to level 4, and at maximum level the damage per second is 335, but has a burst fire of 12 shots. This makes it really cool, but I think the main factor is the range of this defense. I already mentioned you can upgrade 2 of them, and they look like they are so far away from one another on the default layout, but they actually overlap because the range is massive. And that is what I feel the main advantage of the Mini-Minion Hive is. All around, it seems like a general purpose defense. It doesn't do bad versus the Super P.E.K.K.A. in this example being a high HP troop, but there's certainly other defenses that sole purpose is to take down the tank-style troops. On the flip side, I think the Mini-Minion Hive is better against swarm attacks, just like Darian said, because even though it is not a splash defense, since it burst fires all of the angry minions, it can take down a lot of troops very quickly and from a good distance. Onto the Reflector. I was really excited when I heard about this one. Damage per second though, 350 at level 4. So if you were under the impression it was just going to infinitely reflect damage, firing back the Inferno Dragon's beam, unfortunately that is not the case. It does have a cap of how much it can reflect, so the high damage troops such as the P.E.K.K.A., whilst they take more damage, they can push through it quite easily as well. However, I feel the Reflector has one major benefit: the fact that it doesn't actually fire at the troops itself. It reflects the damage. So sneaky archers have been so good in the clan capital. You can just snipe off defenses, but the Reflector doesn't need to see them. It just fires back the damage. So you could use one of these in front of key defenses, which is kind of how they are set up in the default layout, to make sure that you can't easily snipe them off with super archers, since they can just reflect the damage. The other changes coming to the clan capital include clan house personalization and clan capital leagues, so you can work your way up to Legend League as a clan, and it's really nice to see this effectively summarized at the end of the raid weekend screen. If you do want to learn more information about those new clan capital features, I did a video recapping the entire update. It's linked on your screen. Enjoy the rest of your day.